Welcome to this episode of Life Science Success. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Don, and I am a digital marketer in life sciences. And so, in this episode, my guest is Janet Kwiatkowski. She's a proven executive leader with executive experience in life sciences and medical devices and in vitro diagnostic technologies. So, with that, welcome, Janet. It's great to have you on.
Thank you, Don. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it's really strange. We went from the other one that was scheduled to this one, which is like instantly live, and all of a sudden I don't hear the echo. So I'm not sure what happened. But hey, technical challenges. That's the way it goes.
Yes,
I just wanted to maybe start with, can you tell me just a little bit about your background and what it is that led you to life sciences?
sure. I have a varied background, mainly starting on the technical side with different engineering positions from process, manufacturing, electrical, mechanical engineering. I've also always enjoyed working on projects where I could create and build things and try to find creative and innovative solutions to problems, both personally and professionally. I became involved in the medtech life science industry when I was hired by a CMO in New Hampshire. It was the first time I was exposed to the variety and variations of medical devices and in vitro diagnostic devices. And I really enjoyed learning about the convergence of technology, regulatory, and business strategies. And the learning journey continues to this day. Every day is a new day. Every day is learning something new.
Yeah, I feel like everything's changing around us all the time as well. Yeah, it's an unbelievable side, but then also, I mean, a lot of your business seems to focus on like the hardware aspects of things as well, which really I think has been changing at a rapid pace, and I have a feeling even more is coming as well.
Yeah, there's definitely people think of med device and in vitro diagnostic devices as uh, very much uh, hardware driven, and it is. But with med devices now, and also a little bit with in vitro diagnostics, there is a very large push for AI and other avenues related to the cloud and the traditional way of thinking med devices and in vitro diagnostic devices with AI, with cloud-based software, with software as a medical device, software in a medical device, and it's becoming more integrated with a traditional med device, as well as combining med tech and immunotherapeutics or med tech and pharma, which has been traditional. People think of it as companion diagnostics or um, uh, other types of integration between devices and again biologics or pharma. But the enhancement of AI has really brought that together in the synergies and to the benefit of humankind, actually.
Yeah. So, in terms of your educational background as well, you have an associate in science and electronics. You also have a mechanical engineering degree, and an MBA, and have a lot of education, behind you. Just curious, how did that shape your career path?
It allowed me to expand my career beyond the engineering aspect to operations, business development, product development, R&D, global product launches, and quite frankly, leadership. I was also blessed with traveling to a number of locations around the world and being introduced to multiple cultures. And I became friends with a number of people even to this day as the years go by.
And then, in terms of your experience, you also have a lot of varied experience from product development, sales, and then international product management. Can you talk, about the most significant career milestones that you have?
Sure, there have been a number of them. With each new position that I took on, it allowed me to expand my width, breadth, and depth of knowledge beyond what I was hired to do. As I took on projects that would challenge my expertise, I always wanted to be challenged And I always wanted to try to figure out a way to do whatever it was that I was being asked to do. This provided a better understanding of science, engineering, business, and marketing, and how each one of these disciplines must be integrated for success. You cannot work in silos, and everybody understands that. But understanding different perspectives is also a driving factor for success.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think about the fact that whether you're in a large company or a small company, having that ability to understand the fact that each function inside of a company oftentimes is contributing to the final success of whatever product that you're trying to roll out, or whatever challenge that you're trying to overcome.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, I agree with that. And a lot of times, any disagreements are typically disagreements from different perspectives. And if you understand those different perspectives, you can help resolve uh, any issues that may arise as humans interact with each other.
Right. Yeah. So, throughout your leadership roles, what are some of the key challenges that you faced along the way?
I have one example that I was thinking about this. My first engineering position was a process engineer in a mill factory, a mill facility that manufactured sandpaper and ceramic materials. So really heavy duty. And this was a company that was, 100 years old, was in the same multiple buildings that they had been in when they first started the company. I was the only woman engineer and the youngest at that time within a crew of hardened individuals with 30 to 40 years at the company. So these guys knew what they were doing, and me coming in and trying to work on um, advancing the processes, which is what I was hired to do. I needed to earn their respect, not only by solving problems and upgrading 50 to 60 years worth of processes that hadn't changed, but also by getting their input and implementing solutions based on their knowledge, and quite frankly, standing up for them with management. There was an occasion where I was questioned about a certain engineering issue, and to my complete surprise, all of the guys spoke up on my behalf and gave me the credit for the solution that I implemented. That one time was my first lesson in the fact that you have to earn respect, you have to be honest, you have to give credit where credit is due, and you always need to work together to solve any problem.
Yeah, it's such an important thing and lesson to learn, for sure. So
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit about your current company. With May Enterprises, can you describe what you currently work on, and what is your mission?
Okay, so basically, right off the top, our mission is to bring life-saving technology to market. May Group operates, May Enterprises operates on two business verticals. The first is what we call business service side, where we provide engineering, prototype, regulatory quality, and project management, as well as clinical and market readiness services to medtech companies globally. We assist those companies gain market access. The second vertical is where we're bringing our own medical device to market, initially to the US and the EU, Europe.
Very good. And then you've developed innovative technologies like thermal brachytherapy. And can you elaborate, on this technology and the impact it's having on the healthcare industry?
Sure. That second vertical that I just mentioned, it is with thermal brachytherapy medical device system. And that basically simultaneously delivers heat and radiation, so hypothermia and brachytherapy, to a resected cavity. This is oncology-based platform to enhance tumor cell destruction. Basically, the hypothermia, the heat, acts as a sensitizer to enhance the effect of the radiation. As I said, it basically enhances tumor cell destruction, increasing residual tumor cell kill at the rate at the margins what we call the at-risk margins, which is usually from the resected cavity out to about 10 millimeters annular rim, as much as a resected cavity can be annular. And also it reduces the risk of radiation necrosis by shortening the treatment time. The potential impact to healthcare industry is shorter treatment time from the current standard of care, reduced costs for hospital care, for an intended target. Right now, our intended target is GBM, brain cancer, GBM, and breast cancer. And potentially, in particular with GBM, extending time to recurrence, because GBM is a very aggressive brain cancer. And right now, the time from the time of initial diagnosis to the treatment cycle and the time where recurrence happens, which always does happen, is typically about 6 to 9 months. And we believe, and we have preliminary data to show that we can extend that by 3 or 4 times, and also increase the quality of life by shortening the treatment time as well.
How's the device used for glioblastoma?
So basically, typically, if you are diagnosed with glioblastoma, it is a solid cancer tumor. And our thermal brachytherapy system can be used in a number of anatomical locations where you have a solid cancer tumor that can be resected. So our device is used when a tumor is resected. And with GBM, there are certain percentage of GBM tumors that can be resected. During the post-resection, immediately post-resection, a balloon cavity is placed in the resection cavity, and it remains there for 5 to 7 days while we're delivering simultaneously thermal brachytherapy. Whereas the standard of care now, we're going from 5 to 7 day treatment, where standard of care for GBM right now is 12 weeks, about 18 weeks, because there are certain stages
Yeah.
that you have to go through.
What an experience these patients must go through, and definitely, anything that could shorten that time would be, I'm sure, appreciated.
Mm-hmm. If anybody has gone through caring for anybody, or has actually gone through the process of being diagnosed with cancer, any cancer, and gone through that process of trying to get rid of the cancer, eliminate the cancer, it is a very difficult process, and GBM is one of the most difficult and one
Yeah.
of the most costly.
So let's talk a little bit about your approach to product and innovation strategy. So right now, I would imagine you spend a lot of time, going back and forth between, more strategic planning and more tactical execution in your current position. How does that play out in your world?
As we approach any project, we work with our partners to encourage a holistic approach to bringing a product to market, including understanding market needs, defining clear objectives, fostering a culture of innovation, and prioritizing opportunities and developing a roadmap. And a lot of what we do, especially as we're working with startup companies that have this, whatever the innovative technology, it doesn't matter, because we're device agnostic on the business service side. So they come to us with an innovative product that can benefit humankind, but they don't understand the world that they're entering into from a commercialization. And it's not just a regulatory, but a full commercialization process. So we try to help and mentor them going through not only getting their product to market, but understanding what it's going to take. Because typically, people think of we'll just use the FDA, getting the FDA clearance or approval is the end point. It's actually the beginning point. And there is a lot of product adoption activities that you're going to have to do, whether or not you have an exit strategy, or you think you want to stay and grow your business. You have to understand all of that to be successful, and you have to start a lot of that up front. Whereas you're focused on the technology, but an investor is concerned about the technology and wants to understand the technology, but that's not the main focus. And that's difficult for startup companies to understand that process.
Yeah, translating from the research world to a real world device or application is not not trivial in any manner, and for sure, it's helpful always to have people that have been there and understand the environment.
Mhm. Yeah, and all of these, Don, all of these functional areas that we were talking about, they play a role if you're looking at it post market, what we call post market, post approval, post clearance, again on the FDA side. If you bring all of that back, where you should be focused in on that, and it's not easy because not every, nobody knows everything about everything in the commercialization world. But all of these functional areas that we're talking about play a role in design development, play a role in the regulatory strategy and implementation and eventual product launch. You don't want to get to a point where you have a certain you've spent money and resources to get to a certain point, only to find out later that something post market is going to impact the design or product adoption part of it, or market readiness, or clinical aspects of this. You want to know all of that as much as possible. There are going to be things that you forget, but you don't want those to be catastrophic.
Yeah, absolutely. So with all of your experience in the companies that you've worked with, can you give us an example of a successful partnership or market expansion strategy that you've implemented?
We're actually currently expanding our services now by collaborating with two different companies with that we are going to move forward into a more strategic partnership with. The first is a company that utilizes AI to drive and empower individuals and organizations to create impactful, sustainable solutions. And they're doing that by strategically harnessing innovation, fostering equality, using intelligently leveraging technology. And the basic premise is to ensure that medtech meets the needs of patients and caregivers. Because typically that's one of the last things that a startup would be thinking about, or even a large or medium-sized medical device the company that wants to launch a new product or the next gen. People talk about voice of customer or voice of clinics or voice of patients, but this really focuses on that whole aspect, and it helps product adoption. The second opportunity is collaborating with a company that focuses on closing the gap between innovation and product adoption. And they're doing that through defining entry point clarity, integrating evidence into the commercialization strategy, and understanding commercial readiness and the execution of that. So our company provides a core aspect of the commercialization continuum, but we're expanding on both ends of that commercialization continuum from what we provide, so that we can provide a holistic and comprehensive list of services.
Very good. Given your experience in regulatory affairs, how do you see this environment or regulatory environments evolving in 2025?
Yeah, I see the regulatory environment is characterized by increasing regulatory scrutiny, despite what all of the chatter is. And that regulatory scrutiny to me is around data privacy, cybersecurity, and the use of AI, with a growing emphasis on sustainability and environmental, social, and governance factors. I also see a trend towards greater harmonization of regulations and technology playing a role in those compliance efforts. For example, the harmonization of ISO 13485, it's a quality management system, and 21 CFR, which is the FDA version of the quality system regulations, and that merging resulting in a new regulation called the Quality Management System Regulation, or the QMSR, which is scheduled to become effective February of 2026 by the FDA. They'll be launching that program officially. So a lot of a lot of key aspects of what manufacturers are and sponsors are involved in now and will be incorporating as we to a larger scale as we move forward in the future.
Very good. With the rise of precision medicine and AI, how is May Group integrating these technologies into its operations?
Yeah, we frequently work with companies that incorporate AI in devices. Most of, but not all, use AI as the backbone, let's say, of precision medicine, whether, again, whether it's med tech, or a combination of med tech and immunotherapeutic, or med tech and drug. And that basically tailors treatment to individual patient characteristics, their genetic makeup, or other factors. The benefit of AI is enabling more accurate diagnosis, personal treatment plans, predictive analytics, and ultimately enhancing patient care. We are involved in that because we offer AI and ML services and data analytics. So a lot of companies they want to use AI. They're not quite sure. Some of them are not quite sure how they can integrate it with their device. And so we help we help them understand where and how and if they should be using AI with their current generation of their device.
Very good. Janet, what's the greatest piece of leadership advice that you've ever received?
He told me, God gave you one mouth and two ears, and listen twice as much as you speak, which is probably why I'm an introvert. So
That-
thanks, Mom.
that's funny. That's funny that moms can give leadership advice too.
They do. That was the first leadership advice I ever got, and it's always stayed with me.
Very good. What inspires you?
Working together as a team to solve an issue, any issue, from tactical to strategic, coming together to leverage each other's strengths and expertise to resolve the issue, to move the project and the team forward. And it also allows the team to coalesce a lot more, and for each team member to understand the strengths of other team members. And also, if there's something that you as a team member wants to understand more, or wants to get more experience in something, then we can facilitate that.
Thank you for that. What concerns you?
Right now, at this moment, the geopolitical tensions, not only in terms of impact to economy and trade, but more importantly, the impact with humankind, the increasing risk of conflict, and which leads to humanitarian crises. We are of one planet, and we are obviously in business, but it goes beyond just trying to bring a product to market and gain profit and revenue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean I couldn't agree more. It's interesting how, every day you can wake up to something new. And it seems like, rather than sort of rolling things back or, making things better, it seems like there's a new challenge every day. And
Mhm.
so, I look forward to, you know, seeing things advance and hopefully not continue to escalate. Um,
Right. I agree with you. It's heartbreaking to hear some of what's going on, and hopefully, when things calm down, what we do will benefit somebody somewhere. I'm confident of that. That's what we need to do.
Absolutely. Last question. What excites you?
Bringing med tech to markets that benefit humankind, working with like-minded, passionate individuals. To me, this encapsulates a core principle of socially responsible innovation within the med tech industry, focusing on the development and delivery of medical technology with the ultimate goal of improving human health and well-being, while also engaging with individuals who share this passion. That's what excites me, and that's what drives me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And Janet, thank you for being on the Life Science Success podcast and for telling us about May Enterprises and all the great work that you have going on there. You definitely are a company that cuts across a lot of different areas and can provide a lot of help in our industry. And so, I hope that for that reason, people will reach out to you and connect. Any final words before we let everybody go?
No, just thank you for this opportunity. I'm usually focused in on, strategic and tactical issues, as you're saying, related to growing our business. And it's great to take a step back and talk to someone like you and bring together what we're trying to do on the business side with humankind and benefiting humankind. That's important to me.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being on. I appreciate it.
All the best.